Yo, this is the Fight Block, trying something new. Got the webcam going. I got the Rock Band microphone going here again. It's just pretty much been really busy. Been doing the audio lately. Now I'm trying to bring back. Now I got the audio, got some video. Just going to kind of roll with it. Doing this from my closet, which is where I've done it the last couple times for the audio videos because the sound's been good. Plus, my roommate is playing Call of Duty in the other room, and it's really loud. So, in my closet, and yeah. But here to give my UFC on versus 6 predictions. Dominick Cruz defends his bantamweight title against Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. There's 4 fights on the main card, which will be broadcasted on Versus. Solid card, going to be some great fights. So let's just get started with the first matchup between Matt Wiman and Mac Danzig. This is a rematch from their previous controversial fight. Matt Wiman had Mac Danzig in a variation of a guillotine, I believe. And referee thought Mac Danzig was out, checked the hand, went down, but Danzig wasn't out. He was apparently holding on to prevent himself from going out. And because of that, he wasn't able to signal to the ref that he was fine. So when Matt Wiman let go, Danzig immediately hopped up and was complaining that he wasn't out. But yeah, controversial fight. But here's the rematch. Danzig, he's a former Ultimate Fighter winner, but really hasn't strung anything together since winning the show. Matt Wiman, also a tough alum. He's made some huge improvements since the show. He's on a pretty nice winning, or actually no, he's coming off a controversial decision with Dennis Seaver. Before then, he was on a good winning streak, but close fight with Dennis Seaver in his last one. Pretty much just dominated Seaver in the second round. Bloodied Seaver up. I mean, easily could have been a 10-8 round, and just lost a very close, I believe it was a split decision. And so, Wiman coming off a loss. You know, Danzig, he definitely has the skills and the tools to be a promising fighter, but he just for whatever reason can't string things together. And I'm taking Matt Wiman on this one. Wiman, tough to finish. He's got finishing power in his hands. And I mean, I've said before he's been a little bit inconsistent. Sometimes Wiman shows up and he just looks incredible, like jaw-dropping. And other times he just doesn't look all that great. But I feel Wyman's going to put this one together and defeat Mac Danzig by decision. Both guys pretty tough to finish for the most part. And so yeah, Wiman by decision. Moving on to the next fight on the card. Probably the toughest one for me to call. It's Anthony Rumble Johnson taking on Charlie Brenneman. Brenneman coming off that huge upset victory over Rick Horror Story, where he stepped in on short notice. Really just shocked everyone with that win. Anthony Johnson coming off a big win over Dan Hardy. Beat Dan Hardy by decision. Pretty much out-wrestled Hardy and just controlled him on the ground the entire fight. Anthony Johnson, dangerous kickboxer. But, you know, what's tough for me to... why it's tough for me to predict this fight is because we saw Johnson does have a wrestling background, but we saw when he fought Josh Koscheck, he struggled against the takedowns. And really, like I said, his strength is his kickboxing. And if he's going to throw kicks, that's going to leave him vulnerable to Charlie Brenneman's takedowns. And that's what Brenneman's going to come and do in this fight. He's not going to want to stand with Johnson. He's going to put the pressure on immediately and try to take Johnson down to the ground. So, you know, I think it's just going to come down to whether Johnson can stop the shoot and keep this fight standing if he can. Yeah, hold up, dude. Alright, sorry for that interruption. Roommate just jumped in. But where I was at, Anthony Rumble Johnson, strengths, his stand-up, his kickboxing. And if he throws those kicks, leaves himself vulnerable for takedowns. Brenneman, he's going to put the pressure on him. You know, I think Brenneman, he might be successful with the takedowns, get Johnson down several times. But I think Johnson will catch him eventually. I think Johnson, whether it be like a knee or something with Brenneman shooting in, he knows what's coming. He's big. He's a big welterweight. He's got a wrestling background. And I just think Johnson's going to find a way to win this fight. Brenneman, no easy cookie. This is going to be a tough fight for Johnson. But I'm picking Anthony Johnson by TKO in the second round. Moving on to the co-main event. Some are labeling this a freak show fight only because Pat Barry is one of the smaller heavyweights and Stefan Struve is one of the larger heavyweights in terms of size. And these guys have been going back and forth, joking. They got a good friendship. But Pat Barry, dangerous kickboxer. Stefan Struve, kickboxer as well, but he's got a solid jiu-jitsu game. Pat Barry and Stefan Struve both coming off of brutal knockouts. Pat Barry had Congo finished in his last fight. One of the craziest comebacks in UFC history. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. Congo pretty much out cold. The referee almost stops the fight, but somehow Congo proves he's still fighting, gets back to his feet, knocks out Pat Barry, and just huge comeback. And Barry had that fight won, but got caught. Stefan Struve coming off a brutal knockout against Travis Brown. Pretty much got punched so hard it whiplashed himself backwards and looked like he was going to fall on his head. It was just brutal knockout. Stefan Struve, man, he's got huge potential. One of the largest in terms of height heavyweights, and he's got a solid ground game. But he just finds himself in brawls. He doesn't fight smart, and he just seems content to stand and bang. And I mean, his stand-up isn't his strength, and for whatever reason, he chooses to just stand and brawl. And he's come out, I know, and said that he's going to fight with a game plan. He's going to fight a little bit smarter, and if that's true, he's going to want to take Pat Barry to the ground and submit Barry. Barry's ground game, weak. We saw that against Crow Cop in their fight. Crow Cop took Barry down, slapped on submission with ease. Barry, dangerous kickboxer. I see him throwing these leg kicks and forcing Struve to take this fight to the ground. I know Struve, if he doesn't fight smart and he finds himself in a brawl, if Barry whacks away at his legs, he's going to want to take this fight to the ground. So I'm picking Struve to beat Barry by submission. I think Struve fights smart, takes his fight to the ground, and submits Pat Barry in the first round. I'm taking a first-round submission for Stefan Struve over Pat Barry. Going on to the main event, Dominick Cruz defending his bantamweight title against Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. I believe this is the first title fight ever to be broadcasted on cable and not pay-per-view. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is a first for the UFC. And this is a great matchup. Dominick Cruz, coming off his victory over Uriah Faber, avenged his only loss in his career by beating Faber in a tough-fought decision fight. Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson, coming off of a decision victory over, my memory, not so good looking right now. But anyways, Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson, he's on a roll. And if anyone can match Dominick Cruz's speed, it's Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. As fast as he can throw his punches, he can shoot in on you and take you down to the ground. And Cruz's wrestling is improved immensely. He's got great takedown defense. Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson, definitely going to be the smaller of the two fighters. But like I said, this is going to be a fast-paced fight. Both guys are going to come in well-conditioned. And, I mean, what's so awesome about the bantamweight division, as it's pointed out a lot by Joe Rogan on the broadcast, is that these guys can go 5 rounds like it's the first round. And they don't gas. And that just makes for awesome fights. Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson, he's coming off of a decision victory over, Miguel Angel Torres. Biggest win of his career. That was a close fought fight. Torres definitely he was on his back a lot, but he was slapping in submissions. He looked dangerous off his back. He was doing damage, but I guess the judges saw that fight for Mighty Mouse Johnson only because he, for the most part, was on top of Torres for the majority of the fight. Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson also had solid stand-up in his fight against Torres. He was able to hold his own, and I actually think he got the better of the stand-up. That's also because I think Torres was a little bit hesitant coming off of his knockout losses. I just don't think it's the same Miguel Angel Torres that he once was following his knockout losses, but that's a sidetrack comment. But anyways, down to this main event. Dominick Cruz, quick on his feet, always moving, great head movement. He's got great takedown defense. I see him wanting to keep this fight standing, and I'm not sure he'd be able to shoot in really and take Mighty Mouse Johnson down. Both guys, like I said, solid wrestling. I'm not sure if the wrestling factor is going to cancel out. I do see Mighty Mouse Johnson definitely mixing up this fight with his wrestling and his striking. And like I said, if anyone can match the speed, it's Mighty Mouse Johnson. You know what? I'm throwing a curveball here. I called Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson to beat Torres by an upset, and I'm taking Johnson again to surprise and defeat Dominick Cruz by decision. I think this is going to go all 5 rounds, but I think Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson will manage to get Cruz on the ground a couple times, mix it up with his striking. I've been very impressed by Johnson, and I'm taking him to win this fight by decision. Big upset. You can consider it a big upset, but because Cruz has looked dominant, no pun intended. Dominator is his nickname, but he has looked pretty legit and consistent lately. So, but I'm taking Mighty Mouse Johnson, pull off a decision. Yeah. So those are my predictions for UFC on Versus 6. The show takes place October 1st. I believe that is, I'm not sure. Versus seems to be doing their shows on Sundays, but it's a Saturday. So this Saturday, October 1st, several fights on the prelims on Facebook. Quick shout out to Josh the Dentist Near making his UFC return. Always been a fan of that guy. So he takes on Keith. Great. I don't want to pronounce this guy's name. Keith Wisnio Renew. I don't know. Anyways, a guy I've never heard of. So, but yeah, thanks for listening. Mixing it up again with the webcam. When I'm able to ramble, it's easier for me to edit and just put this thing together real quick and get it up. So, thanks for listening. Check out the blog. I've been updating it. And had the guys from MMA HQ send me a couple shirts. I'm not wearing it now, but I'll give them another plug later when I actually put the shirts on. But check out their website. It was cool of them to hook me up. But check out the blog, www.fightblock.blogspot.com. Follow on Twitter at fight_block. All that information in the description box. Subscribe, comment. I've got some great users here that contact me, and we converse and appreciate it, and enjoy the fights on Saturday. Good ones. I think that's all I got to say for now.